to actually give a health disclaimer. And so the information that will be discussed is not intended nor meant to substitute for advice provided by your doctor or other healthcare practitioner, and not intended for diagnosing or treating a health condition or problem or disease condition or prescribing any medication. The information provided is for information purposes only. Do you have your computer on? So can you see the PowerPoint we have?
Yeah. I can see it fine.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so the first slide is a group of the company's products, and the topic that we'll be discussing today is back to school, or I would like to call it help with back to school. As a brief introduction to myself, I am Eldon Dahl, the founder and CEO of Life Choice. I began this company in 1986 as a means of treating my patients with remedies created for their individual needs, resulting in what is now known as Life Choice Company. This subject of school is very challenging. Hyperactivity is much more prevalent than in my days of school. Families are under pressure and teachers are overloaded with extra students in an effort to save money. And gone may be the time for a one-on-one with a student and teacher dealing with the focus or attention issues. Classroom control must be maintained. Sadly, as a result, children are either drugged, and the most common drug that is given is Ritalin, and the side effects are massive. Researchers at the Duke Medical University reported a link between Ritalin and serotonin, a naturally occurring chemical in the brain that is released through the pineal gland. And it appears that it inhibits the behavior and activity. The Duke study, if those on the other end could mute their system, we will have a clearer communication. Thank you. The Duke study seems to indicate that ADHD symptoms may be reduced by raising the level of serotonin in the brain. An abstract of this article is also available from PubMed. Now, long-term Ritalin use or at high dosage are mood, mental changes, weight loss, and growth suppression. Now, the prescription for Ritalin for children has now surpassed the prescription use for adults. So adults and children are both are affected by ADHD or attention deficit at an alarming rate. The contributing factor for ADD, attention deficit disorder, or attention hyperactive disorder, are the processed diets that people are feeding on today in society, high in sugars, airborne toxins, such as those associated with smartphones and Wi-Fi radiation everywhere, and a lack of proper night's sleep is also a basic fundamental that is prevalent. Children today are not getting their proper 8 to 10 hours of sleep. We have addressed some of the issues, but I would like to go really into the focus of what can be done for students and really for the whole family structure. Because when one person is affected by ADHD, it affects the whole family. And there is a natural way without side effects and is less stressful for the school year. So the one product that I would like to start off with is our melatonin product. Now, sweet dreams liquid melatonin, as the PowerPoint shows, is drift off to dreamland with our sweet dreams liquid melatonin. Now, the difference, melatonin, you'll see melatonin in every pharmacy. You'll see it in any big box store and most health stores. The difference between our brand and their brand is ours is medicinal grade. It's 100% drug manufactured file melatonin, and it works on a completely different pathway than the material that is usually produced from Chinese material, where it has a host of side effects and the origin is unknown. Several times people that are allergic to melatonin are not allergic to melatonin and have these reactions of nightmares, clenching their teeth, muscle spasms. What they're really allergic to is the quality of the melatonin. Our melatonin is derived along the pathway of the amino acid L-tryptophan. And we all know the symptom of what we get in the turkey dinner when we get tired later. This is a contributing factor from having the release of serotonin, which tryptophan is a natural serotonin releaser. So this is why right off the start, the drug manufactured file melatonin can do so many things that the others cannot. This is the one that they use in all the tests, all the clinical tests in American Cancer Institute tests, and this is the one that they're using, the drug manufacturer file patented version. We pay, just for a record, 700% more for this, but outside of prescription, you will not find this quality. So melatonin, as it's generally known, relieves insomnia and promotes a good night's sleep. And it is intended to reset the anti-aging clock, or the time clock, within the body. So it eases jet lag when you're traveling, and it has no adverse side effects as other remedies do. It's controlled delivery, and it's very easy in administration. And this is where it's very helpful for children, where they don't like to swallow tablets. In liquid form, 7 milligrams is equal to 7 drops is equal to 1 milligram. Sorry about that. And but it's also good. 7 drops is another fact that is a beauty of taking this product. Is 7 drops is equivalent to the amount of 1 milligram that the pineal gland needs on a daily basis for anti-aging purposes. So the Journal of Pineal Research published a study examining the effects of DMF melatonin on children with ADHD and chronic sleep onset insomnia. And they found that for sleep, long-term use was safe and effective for 88% of the cases. For behavior and memory, the improvement rate was 71% and 61% respectively. So you'll see the high case of being safe and tolerant, 88% with the DMF. If you were to test the Chinese material one, and again, I'd like to stress that this has nothing to do with Chinese or any material. It just has to do with the quality of the raw material used to produce the products. You wouldn't see this high rate of effectiveness. Another study, similarly, is showing the Journal of American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychology. They studied DMF melatonin in ADHD children who were being treated with stimulants. When combined with sleep hygiene, the mean decrease in initial insomnia was 60 minutes. The only recorded adverse effect were similar to placebo. So what it does is that even with a stimulant, it will actually still help achieve sleep. The next product that we'd like to talk about and how it applies for going back to school is Laktokhan. As we say, the bacteria that we have in our gut is that there is actually needs to be a balance between good bacteria and what we call foreign bacteria or bad bacteria that causes us to have reactions and sickness. Excuse me. The Laktokhan is human strain. A human strain is in a form that is readily adapted and absorbed into the human body. There are other ones that are synthetic strain. There's animal strain, but human strain is the only one that really has the lasting effect without side effects. And because it has the good bacteria and the prebiotic that keeps it active for a 3-year shelf life, it does not feed the bad bacteria. Some probiotics actually have a sugar content, is how they're derived, and actually could feed the bad bacteria. Each capsule has 10 billion clinically proven tests. So it's been tested to be scientifically tested for 10 billion CFUs, or colony-forming units. So this is the main one is Lactobacillus rhamnos and Lactobacillus acidophilus. This is what the body would require if we were going to make the human digestive system and gut and create it perfectly. This is the range that is the proper range for the stomach gut. But keep in mind Lactobacillus. This is a study that was done in neurogastroenterology and motility. Examine the difference between germ-free mice and specific pathogen-free mice when running a maze. So they found that the germ-free mice were more anxious, which led to their conclusion that the absence or the presence of conventional intestinal microbacteria flora influences the development of behavior and is accompanied by neurochemical changes within the brain. So what this really is saying is that if you clean the gut so it has no bacteria whatsoever, in this study, the mice were actually more anxious and nervous. When you create a balance in the intestinal flora, it's calming and relaxing. The next one was another study found that the probiotic strain Lactobacillus directly influences parts of the brain. The study was conducted using probiotic-fed mice versus regularly fed mice. The part of the brain that was influenced were the GABA receptors. We'll get into GABA receptors in a second, which led to the reduction in stress, anxiety, depression-related behaviors. And the benefits on the probiotic on mental capabilities have also been published on Psychology Today. Now, a GABA receptor is what we call our fight and flight syndrome. So when we come under stress, the GABA receptors in our body show the anxiety and calming. The GABA calms the nerves. So what we're finding here is when the bacteria was the proper bacteria, when it was placed in the body, the GABA receptors kicked in and the body relaxed. The next slide and the product that I'd like to talk about is the DMAE. This is an amazing product for treating attention deficit disorders and several other health conditions. So what we say is it helps the brain fog with the DMAE capsules. So it supports healthy brain and nerve functions, and it's a precursor to the neurotransmitter acetylcholine. And so it's 340 milligrams of DMAE bitartrate, that is the natural side, produces 125 milligrams of the pure medical grade denol into the cells. So the active part is the denol, and the bitartrate is the one that helps deliver it to the cells. So in this combination, it is the best to have the DMAE bitartrate. So some of the benefits may improve mood, memory, and learning abilities. And acetylcholine can improved sexual arousal. Now, we don't want that for school children, but adults, as I say, are the ones that are becoming equally, if not more, having the ADHD symptoms. So DMA also benefits those with autism and ADHD according to clinical studies. This is DMA was studied in the Brain Bio Center in Princeton, New Jersey, where they had 25 girls and 83 boys were studied. The DMA supplementation resulted in enhanced behavior in 2/3 of the boys and 3/4 of the girls. Hyperactivity and irritability were reduced, while attention span and lengthened scholastic ability was improved. And in some cases, IQ was elevated.
Pull up a chair and come and listen.
Another double-blind study supplemented 74 children who had learning disorders, many hyperactive, with 500 milligrams of DMA for 3 months. They were then tested for behavior, reaction time, and put through a series of standard psychometric parameters. There was only one general improvement, but also there was not only one general improvement, but also performance improved in the children with learning and behavioral disorders. Now there's several, and I only picked a few, but I have a few others that I'd like to discuss. DMA has also shown the ability of reducing disruptive behavior for children while also improving their ability to focus. The children being tested were considered disruptive and as having learning disabilities. After giving DMAE, they showed significant increases on their test scores. Another study showed its effectiveness for treating patients with Alzheimer's disease or Huntington's disease. However, a 1995 study done at the Duke Medical University found that the rats given DMA showed improvement in their working memory performance in addition. Dr. Carl Pfeiffer, a real pioneer in the industry, one that I've read most of his books in the field of nutrition and the author of Healing Nutrients Within, has stated that DMAE is capable of promoting a steady and prolonged level of alertness and effectiveness. In principle, it is the type of mental state that is in association with mental focus, memory, and mood enhancement. It has been argued that cell membrane degradation can be slowed by DMAE's improvement in cell membrane repair, particularly in the central nervous system. Now, here's where we find Alzheimer's, dementia. It affects this particular pathway. And what we're finding is that DMAE can actually help repair the central nervous system. Now, you would think that a product like this could do so many things, would just be picked up by pharma right away. Well, drug manufacturers were interested in the pharmaceutical properties of the substance. They sure were, because it was remarkable. But as DMA is readily available in food, in salmon, and sardines, the product was eventually packaged as a nutritional supplement and is widely available now without prescription. So the studies that were done on this is prevention and mild cognitive impairment and the eventual dementia, Alzheimer's, and disease. So if you could look those studies up also. Now the next product I would like to discuss is colloidal silver. Now we call this cloud has a silver lining. The colloidal silver helps to fight infection with a homeopathic colloidal silver. As we know, the classroom and the school is a bedding ground for bacteria exchange. Now, what colloidal silver has been known to do is it's a natural remedy against bacterial infections. It's time-tested antiseptic and disinfectant, and it's effective support for the immune system. Now, what makes ours completely different than most, it's a homeopathic preparation as one, so it has the argentum metallicum, And it also starts off as a starting position with 20 parts per million electrically charged and homeopathic charge. So you have two different charging mechanisms that come into the body and start attacking the infections. What silver has been used for, the colloidal silver used in hospital medical, where they're doing actually operating rooms, where they take their tools, their operating tools, and they disinfect them in colloidal silver. The next slide is there are several recent studies that have shown that colloidal silver is effective for multiple drug resistance pathogens and superbugs. In actual fact, this was used for treating Ebola, and this was done from the American Air Force. And we have the clinical studies on that, and we have released them in some of our previous newsletters. Colloidal silver actually worked by actually taking that and curing the people. It has also increased the effectiveness of antibiotics, such as staph infection. And silver has also shown promise in personal care, hygiene, and healthcare. I personally take this every day. I spray it on my face after washing and shaving. And if during allergy season, I spray one shot directly up the nostrils, and that cleans the sinuses, so it helps deal with having allergies, hay fever, and this nature. Here's another product that is very, very helpful for relaxing the nervous system. Tyrosine. It's an amino acid that it works by relaxing and calming, and it's stress reducing. So it helps to suppress appetite, helps reduce body fat, aids in the production of dopamine and serotonin, and helps reduce the negative effects of stress, helps regulate mood swings, and it's available through Life Choice at 750 milligrams. Now the difference with ours is it is produced by fermentation. Tyrosine studies. Tyrosine effectiveness was studied by the Brain Research Bulletin. Results found that military cadets who drank the tyrosine beverage performed better on memory and tracking tasks. The systolic blood pressure was also decreased. So that lowers your blood pressure. So this is good for high blood pressure people, especially when you're under stress. This was sent from a student that uses our product. She's a university student, and she uses this product for, and I'll read her quote. It says, "My biggest problem is stress. Under stress, I can't do anything. I can't study or remember the stuff I learned, and I have a horrible bellyache. Thanks to the Life Choice Tyrosine, it's a thing of the past. Without these products, I could not imagine how my university years would be. Terrible and more difficult, I think." What she also said in subsequent testimonials, she said that what she would do is she would know all the information. She's an A student, but the panic that would ensue prior to her writing her exam would just take grip, and she could not remember things. Her hands would shake, her palms would become very sweaty as all sign of going into a stress attack. And she said after taking the DMSO or the L-tyrosine, she found that there was just a tranquilness, and it did not lessen her ability to think. So a lot of the times when people are taking things as an antidepressant, what they also are doing is they dull down their senses and they cannot think as clearly. This does not do that. It actually increases your mental faculties, and it decreases the chronic fatigue. So extremely good in stressful situations. As I said, ours is a fermented version. There's a big difference between a fermentation version of amino acids and a chemical extraction version of amino acids. As with our other amino acids, tyrosine is made from fermentation. The cheaper versions are derived from non-vegetarian sources and often from sources such as bird feathers, human hair, or even sewage sludge. I don't have time to go into the sewage sludge, but sewage sludge is what they're using in India, China, and parts of Brazil and other parts of the world for putting onto the crops. They spray these crops because it's a natural type of protein, and it also works like a fertilizer. But what it's actually doing, it's changing the DNA structure. It's making men impotent, and it has several side effects to women. We will discuss that in a future discussion on airborne toxicities and things that we're taking in from our food. The amino acids, which are manufactured by fermentation, such as the one produced by Life Choice, start with nutrients such as starches, natural starches, or cane sugars, which are converted into the targeted amino acid by the use of microorganisms and enzymes. With a fermented form, you will actually use up to 30 enzymes. So enzymes are our ability to break it down so it becomes into a form where the body can absorb it, which we call free form. And so what happens with the chemical extracted form, instead of breaking a protein into amino acid pieces, it tries to clean it up with solvents and chemicals. And of course, we know that, as we said, the beginning stage could be actually sewage sludge. So the fermentation method uses optimized metabolic pathways and specialized complex enzymes in order to build the target amino acid. So one is building it in a pathway that the body can absorb readily into the cells. The other one is building it into a way where it uses up to 5 to 7 enzymes. So it's not as bioactive to get delivered to the cells. It is the same way that our own bodies make many amino acids, and the same process that we do for manufacturing beer, miso, and this nature when it's in a natural fermentation process like our stomach. When you ingest food, it sits in the stomach, it breaks down with the acids, it's allowed to break down into its individual components so it can pass through the intestinal wall into the bloodstream to be delivered to the cells. The same thing happens with fermented amino acids. In conclusion, the balanced lifestyle is the key for a successful school year. A proper diet, a good night's sleep, healthy gut bacteria, and the ability of being in control, lessening the stress, the busy school time for the entire family, and with a healthy planning, it can be organized fun as it should be. So if you have any questions, I can take them briefly right now. If